G'day you cheeky dogs, today we're going to be breaking down the Bluey Season 1 episode, The Beach.
Mom, beach! Beach!
Beach!
We're going to be going through all the movie, TV reference, pop culture references that are in this episode, as well as all the hidden details, and of course explaining this scene in particular to all the foreign audiences out there who have never seen something like this before, because this was probably like the most asked question on Reddit and Facebook. Like it just came up constantly. So yes, we are going to be talking about that. But first, if you love Bluey as much as I do, don't forget to hit that like button down below, as well as that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey videos. G'day cheeky dogs, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. Alright, so let's get started with the Little Mermaid references. So this one seems of course very obvious. Bluey is a mermaid and then she gets her legs, but only for one day.
Woo!
Of course, the story usually is for 3 days, but everything else in this very much parallels the idea of the Little Mermaid story arc, about a girl being a mermaid, getting her legs, and then learning to be brave and learning how to be independent from her family and go off on an adventure. Just like the Little Mermaid, this is exactly what Bluey does in this episode as well. We also have like a little dog mermaid in like that beautiful castle, which looks a little bit like Atlantica, I think. We also, of course, have a reference to Neptune, god of the seas, but the girls don't say Neptune, god of the seas, they say King Neptune.
Oh yeah, you can be King Neptune, and you give me legs.
Which very much seems like maybe a little nod to the reference of SpongeBob with King Neptune in that.
Oh yeah, thanks King Neptune.
And of course we then see a dog Neptune on the Surfer Dog surfboard as well. Speaking of the Surfer Dog, of course, this is one of like the really cool iconic cameo voices that we get in this series, and this one is from Lane Beachley, who is a 7-time world champion surfer and the current chair of Surfing Australia.
But they only last a day, Little Mermaid, so enjoy them.
Woo!
I love that they didn't just like show her walking into the ocean, but they also actually show her surfing too. Now, there was a little bit of a debate about the location of this beach as well, and that's mostly due to the Bluey map versus the actual animators and art directors on the show. So the Bluey map shows that this would be around like Waturla Beach. However, it's actually on Peregrine Beach, and there's a few little things that point this out. Everything from like the little sand walkway that goes down into it to the birds, the ospreys that we see in the sky. Those are actually like, there's a large colony of them at Peregrine Beach, but also it was also confirmed on Instagram that Peregrine Beach was the inspiration for this location. So let's talk about the face painting and what's going on with that. But first, real quick, some of you might know that I am currently in Japan at the moment with Bumblebee, but I was lucky enough to have a sponsor reach out to help sponsor this video for today. If the idea of hiring a lawyer seems daunting, it shouldn't be. Because if you are ever injured and you don't know where to start, with Morgan & Morgan, it is so easy. They're a 21st century law firm that has modernized the injury law process. In 8 clicks or less, you can submit a claim to Morgan & Morgan without ever having to leave the couch. A lawyer will review your case and you can go over case details, contracts, and upload documents all from your phone. And you can even just text your legal team rather than go to meetings in person. So if you are ever injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Again, you can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less without ever having to leave your couch. For more info, go to forthepeople.com or dial #law. That's #529 from your cell phone. Okay, back to the video now. So, for everyone in Australia, you already know what this is, but for everyone else, this is zinc, or also known as like zinc oxide sunscreen. It is not like your regular sunscreen, so just like in Bluey, we see the tube of sunscreen there on the ground. Normally what you do is you put the sunscreen on first, but then because the sun is so intense in Australia, like I cannot explain it enough. Like you go outside and you're burnt within 5 minutes. Usually you need to use zinc to put it on like your nose and your cheeks or any like the really sensitive areas that get burnt really, really easily, to avoid skin cancer. And the reason why it's colored as well is, one, it's fun. It's really fun to have colored things for kids so they're more likely to put it on, but also you can tell them when you need to like reapply it because it starts to fade away and you can tell straight away, oh, it's not there anymore, you need to reapply it again. It's really good because, you know, sunscreen usually you can forget to reapply, but zinc, like you can see straight away when you need to. And of course the colors they use are green and yellow, which are the Australian national colors as well. So I hope that settles the debate of what's going on there. I do find it funny that like they put it on Bluey's eyebrows, but I think that was just like a really cool like stylized choice. And we do see zinc popping up again later on in more beach episodes in season 3 too.
Can I go and show Mum?
Yeah, all right. Off you go. Bingo and I'll wait here.
Really?
Now, let's talk about the next very iconic moment from this episode. And again, you might have missed it if you didn't really know about it. And that's when Chili is lying down on the beach. Now, this is a reference to the iconic photograph called the Sunbaker by Max Dupain. This was also on the cover of InStyle magazine, making Chili officially a cover girl. And the Ludo Studio teams also did a very specific picture again for that as well, of Chili referencing Elle Macpherson. And I again did a whole video about that. I'll link it up here. But again, this is just such a really cool pop culture reference, especially for Australia, and just this beautiful black and white photograph being brought to life by Bluey. Speaking of some sort of fourth wall kind of breaks as well, the Bluey Beach book we can actually see in the episode Quiet Game next to the Bluey Fruitback book. Again, kind of giving that idea of maybe Bluey is a reality TV show. I did a theory on that already. But in the Bluey Beach book, we do see a long dog inside the tent. However, in this episode, there is no long dog to be found. Although some people think that maybe this picture kind of looks like a long dog, like the outline of all of it together, but I'm not really sure. Let me know down below, cheeky dogs, if you think that this is actually a long dog. Some of the other really cool animation details in this is the title card, for example. This is the first time the title card is animated. The seagull is actually moving around and looking. It's very rare for this to happen in Bluey episodes, so this is one of those times.
This episode of Bluey is cool. The beach!
The jellyfish scene as well was also removed off the BBC version of this in the UK.
Ooh, jellyfish!
So on CBeebies, you won't see Bluey poking the jellyfish. You still see this on Disney Plus and ABC iView, but this is removed because it's dangerous. And I'm actually surprised that they kept it in Australia, because again, jellyfish are really dangerous. It's a big part of our culture, learning about how to be safe, especially around the beach and the ocean. So yeah, I'm surprised that they kind of kept that part in there.
You can't sting me, jellyfish!
The soldier crabs, though, is also a really cute nod to just beach life in Australia and all the little crabs that you see. And yes, they are that colour as well.
Pinky. I'm the mermaid who got her crab legs.
But funnily enough, soldier crabs don't walk side to side like normal crabs. They're one of the very few crabs that actually walk forwards and backwards. And usually they only ever run to and from the ocean. So just a fun little thing to note there. There were, of course, just some fun little references of them actually being dogs, them getting there straight away and rolling in the sand, which made me laugh out loud. Bandit also sticking his tongue out when he's concentrating, and of course Bluey barking at the seagulls to move them. Some other little Australianness that maybe you would have missed is the beach cricket scene. So when Bluey is moving past the beach before she sees the sandcastle, there are the sticks in the ground, and that is a beach cricket setup. We do see this later on again in the episode Cricket. Again, this is one of those 10 episodes that are only available in Australia, but I do love that we already had that reference to it all the way back in season 1.
Little cheeky wave.
And all just the little Australian slang cheeky and matey.
Where are you going, little lady?
Something else I noticed a few people talking about as well was the idea that this was very reflective of what a 1980s, 1990s scrolling video game would look like. Kind of reminds me of old school Mario and things like that, where the character can only move side to side, or they can only jump over things. And Bluey, oftentimes that's what it looks like how the camera is scrolling along and she's just meeting each task. And even from the fact that she starts at the flag, so the flag is the starting point, and then she has to jump over each thing. And even with the pelican, she just sort of moves around it. And then at the end, she jumps into her mum's arms, and then the screen changes again to sort of show end of game kind of scenario. So that mixed with the music as well, sounding very synthesized and very 80s and 90s style, I could see that maybe they pulled some inspiration off that for the animation style for this episode.
I love walking by myself.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
I don't know. I just do. But this is nice too, though.
Overall for me, this episode is a 5 out of 5. Whilst, again, we don't have like the long dog or the tennis ball, which would have been so easy, of course, to put in here. We just have so much Australianness, and like this is just what it's like going to a beach in Australia, and it just made me feel like I was at home. So similar to Wagon Ride, just the amount of like Aussie-ness and feeling of being in Australia was so strong in this episode. So for me, it makes it a 5 out of 5. And I love that we see just Bluey learning to be brave and gaining independence and learning that she has trust from her parents, but there are still boundaries. She's not allowed to go in the ocean.
And I can go all that way by myself?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on you.
For real life?
Yeah, just don't go in the water.
Okay.
So just seeing her grow up and getting that trust, I think is really awesome. And the whole idea of like, this is how you can enjoy an activity by yourself, which is probably something that she hasn't done a lot. She's always had her little sister there playing with her, or she's had other friends to socialize with. But of course, when you are doing something by yourself, you're more likely to enjoy your surroundings, or even just notice your surroundings a lot more, because that's what you're focusing on rather than focusing on socializing with someone. So I love that we get to see that journey of Bluey learning that being independent and being alone is okay, and that she is brave enough to do it. She doesn't need her help from either parent. She can handle these small tasks herself, and seeing that she enjoys that, but of course also enjoys walking with her mum too.
Maybe this is where the other mermaids live.
So cheeky dogs, let me know what you think about this episode down below and how many long dogs you would give it out of 5. But while you're there as well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any more Bluey videos. But until then, I have picked you out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!